His Royal Highness Haakon Magnus, the Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Norway, and your very distinguished delegation, the Honorable Cabinet Ministers and members of the opposition, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Bulawanaka, and a very good evening to you all. Your Royal Highness will have to forgive us, as you've heard, if there are a few tired faces in the crowd today. Many of us were quite up late last night, watching our national sevens team take first place finish at the Hong Kong Sevens, the 5th time in a row we've won the tournament. It seems you've brought some luck along with you. So, Your Royal Highness, we are honored to host you in Suva tonight, in what is the first ever official visit to Fiji by a member of the Royal House of the Kingdom of Norway. I'm told the temperature had a low of 2 degrees below zero today in Oslo. I've been through all that during my time in Bonn. So when I offer you a warm welcome on behalf of all Fijians, I mean that quite literally. We indeed have a very different weather, and from the surface, Fiji and Norway may seem to be polar opposites. But when you look a bit closer, it becomes clear that we share many more similarities than most may think. Both Fiji and Norway are home to unique cultures and languages. We each have a rich history of maritime exploration. We are international promoters of peace. Our peacekeepers, Your Royal Highness, have served alongside each other in Lebanon, in Sudan, and in the Sinai Peninsula. And of course, on the global stage, we share a passion for protecting the climate, our oceans, and our natural environment. That passion isn't by coincidence. Our nations are faced with a mutual sense of urgency to address climate change, as the consequences of rising seas and heightened temperatures are already being felt by Fijians and Norwegians alike. And while the whole world stands to suffer from a changing climate, the impact afflicting our nation is already proving to be outsized. Warming is accelerating at a particularly alarming pace in Scandinavia, and stronger tropical cyclones have ravaged Fiji in recent years. Our cultural, our agricultural and fishing sectors are being disrupted, and entire industries are reeling to adapt. But whether it's melting glaciers at your latitude or the rising seas at ours, for us, this menacing worldwide threat is even more dire. That's why Norway, like Fiji, has led the world as we work to curb climate change. Your Royal Highness, I thank the Government of Norway for its ambitious advocacy in this fight and for its generous financial support of Fiji's own efforts, including the Ocean Pathway. We both understand that the protection of our oceans must be a central focus of any climate consideration, and I look forward to working hand in hand with our Norwegian brothers and sisters to put even more emphasis on the blue economy in future international negotiations. But of course, not all progress requires broad international consensus. As we look to limit temperature rise, what is perhaps the most affordable and immediate step we can take actually comes from the very source that we're working to protect, Mother Nature. By harnessing the power of nature and focusing on green initiatives like the mass planting of trees and mangroves, carbon dioxide that has already been released into the air will be absorbed, limiting the man-made damage to our atmosphere. In fact, if properly funded, these national climate solutions could have the potential to offset about 1/3 of the emissions necessary to hit our targets by 2030. Here again, Your Highness, our commonalities are on full display. Just this year, the Fijian government undertook an ambitious project to plant 4 million trees over the next 4 years. And when it comes to cultivating healthy forests, Norway has a long history of international stewardship. In fact, your own sustainable forestry efforts span far beyond your own borders. From Liberia to Indonesia, Norway has committed hundreds of millions of dollars to halting irresponsible deforestation all around the globe. This type of international cooperation between the highly developed world and their counterparts in lesser developed countries is essential to finding success through climate solutions. When we do, our well-established target to cap the increase to global temperatures at 1.5 degrees looks to be a goal within reach. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, whenever our countries fall on the globe, across borders, oceans, and hemispheres, all of humanity shares a common future when it comes to climate change. We're all in the same canoe. And whether it's a Fijian drawer sailing across the Pacific, or a Viking long ship cutting through the Norwegian fjords, I think it's safe to say that the metaphor still stands. Your Royal Highness, I look forward to working with you and with the people of Norway as we steer that ship to a more climate-conscious future for generations to come. I again offer you the warmest of welcomes and wish you all the best in the events that you have planned for the days ahead. I hope that the impression that Fiji leaves you with lives long after you've left, and that today will mark the beginning of an even more fruitful, cooperative chapter in the relationship between our two proud nations. Tak skal du ha, and thank you.
Prime Minister Bainimarama, generous hosts, ladies and gentlemen. Bulavinaka. It is a great pleasure for me and the entire delegation to be here in Fiji, to see your beautiful country, to listen and learn about your society and history. Thank you for the warm hospitality you have shown us. Our program here in the South Pacific is wide-ranging. We have already visited Tonga, met with His Majesty, the King and official representatives, and we have had some very interesting field visits. After arriving here in Fiji on Saturday evening, I had the opportunity to enjoy the beautiful scenery, dive at the Kakaloevo Reef, and even do some surfing out there. It is easy to see why people all over the world, including Norwegians, associate the South Pacific countries with paradise. Fiji and Norway are far apart in geographical terms. We come from the cold north of Europe. Here in the South Pacific, we have been given a very warm welcome, and we feel that we are among friends with shared interests. Our countries may be small in terms of landmass, but both are large ocean states. The oceans are essential to our livelihoods and history. The oceans connect us. Our peoples share a deep concern for the future of the planet, its oceans and its climate. We know that the countries of the South Pacific are vulnerable to the effects of climate change. We are experiencing effects in Norway too. Our winters are shorter than before, our glaciers are shrinking, and ice caps in the Norwegian Arctic island of Svalbard are receding. Melting ice in the polar regions means rising sea levels all over the globe. The future of the planet depends on the health of the oceans and climate, and on our ability to work together. Fiji's leadership has been crucial for ensuring progress in the implementation of the Paris Agreement. We have been proud to work with Fiji to promote climate action, and now we are proud to be cooperating with you on ensuring sustainable management of our oceans. Our two countries have worked together for almost 50 years in the United Nations. Our collaboration has included taking part in the Law of the Sea negotiations and in peacekeeping operations in Lebanon. Both Norway and Fiji have provided force commanders to UNIFIL, and in Fiji's case, President Conrad. We believe that peace and security, climate action and sustainable development are all interlinked. Under the leadership of the Prime Minister of Fiji, the Pacific has raised its voice on the global stage, speaking out about critical issues such as climate change and the oceans. Fiji's leadership at COP23 and the UN Oceans Conference was crucial and enabled the Pacific to influence vital processes and agreements. The voice of the Pacific is important, and Fiji has made it heard. We look forward to working with you in the UN, multilaterally and regionally, to forward our mutual interests in these crucial areas. We want to learn from Fiji's experience, and we hope to bring the knowledge we gain from you to the table of the Security Council in the period of 2021-2022. Tomorrow, I am looking forward to trying your national sport, rugby, and I would like to say congratulations on your big win yesterday evening. I have to admit that in rugby, we Norwegians have a lot to learn. Norway has never had an Olympic rugby team, while Fiji is the Olympic champion. And we wish you the best of luck in the Rugby World Cup in Japan this year. Next year, sorry. Oh, it's this year. It is this year. Given your climate, it is impressive that Fiji has also participated in 3 Winter Olympics. 3. Your cross-country skier, Rogoyama, finished the 10 kilometers race in 1994 Winter Olympics in Norway in 38 minutes. That is faster than almost all Norwegians, even though we are said to be born with skis on our feet. Tonight we are happy to be able to relax and enjoy excellent food and drink, including kama, for which Fiji is famous. So in closing, I would like to propose a toast to continued collaboration and excellent relations between Fiji and Norway.